Hi, and welcome to this video tutorial for SwissSys tournament software for Windows. I'm the author, Thad Suits, and I'll be guiding you through most of the basics of program operation in this first tutorial video. When you first run the program, you will see the task launcher, where you can choose from several typical startup tasks. Let's set up a new tournament by clicking on the New button. This is the tournament setup dialog where you declare your sections and section settings. For this first tutorial, let's set up a simple tournament of one section called the Pots Are Open. I type that as the tournament name. Every tournament needs at least one section, so I click on the Add a Section button to bring up the section setup dialog. I enter the section name, Open. This is just going to be a regular Swiss-style tournament, but there are other types I could select. Similarly, there are other settings I could take advantage of here, but for simple tournaments, you can often just accept the defaults and click OK. On screen now is the main view. Along the top, you see the box labeled Open, representing this section. If I had more than one section, other clickable boxes would be displayed here, with the currently active section being highlighted. Apart from that, there's not much to see because I haven't entered any players yet, so let's do that now. To get players registered for a tournament, I'm going to click on, not surprisingly, Players and Register. Up comes the registration dialog where you can type in whatever information you want to keep track of for your players. For this pretend tournament, I'm just going to work with a few bits of information. But as you can see, there are lots of other things you can keep track of if you want. Let me type in a few players now to get us started. I'll enter myself first. I think I'll give myself a master rating of 2350 in my dreams. Then my older brother Damien, whose rating has really been going up lately. I think he's at 356 now. So that's how to register players manually, but for established players, there are easier ways to get them into the computer. I'm talking about using one of the databases that chess organizations like the USCF, the CFC in Canada, and FIDE make available to their tournament directors. For that matter, you can even create your own database in any of several formats that SwissSys supports. Now, I've already downloaded the USCF database on my system and then linked it with SwissSys using the program's database wizard, which only takes a couple of mouse clicks. I click on the Search tab and enter a name or ID number there. I'll use my buddy's name and click Search Database. The first time you do a search, the program needs to know what ratings you want to look for. Here we can just accept the defaults. In the case of my buddy, the program has found an exact match, so it loads his information in the Registration tab and takes me back there. I could have done the same thing, by the way, straight from the Registration tab. Here I'll type in another name and hit the F5 shortcut key to do the search. I can even set the Enter key so it instantly triggers a search from here. For USCF and FIDE tournaments, there's also the option of loading player data directly from their websites. I can either click the Search Online button of the Search tab to load players from there, or I can set my default data source to Online rather than Database by clicking on the Import menu. So, fast forwarding, picture me now at the tournament site with 8 players registered. Much to my surprise, in walks world champion Magnus Carlsen, having been lured by the $25 prize fund. He wants to play, but only if I allow him to take a half-point bye for round 1. Let's look him up now with an online search. In this case, there is more than one match, even though most of his opponents would agree that one Magnus Carlsen is more than enough. I double-click the player I want to load, and next, before accepting him, I click on the Advance Bye Round button over here to give him his half-point reserve bye for the first round. I click Accept. I exit the registration dialog. And now is a good time to save my work. SwissSys automatically saves backup files, which are available from the File menu, but even so, you should make a habit of saving your work. If you are really nervous about losing data, there is even an autosave feature that saves your work for you whenever you make changes, but that is switched off by default. Anyway, we click Save and save it as the pots are open. Now we are back at the main view, where you can see our players listed in the standard wall chart format. You can also see a standings listing by clicking on View Standings or using the shortcut button here. At this point, you might print out the wall chart and post it, but let's skip that and go right to the first round pairings. Click on Pairings, Pair Next Round, or click on the shiny Pair button. Since this is round 1, we are asked for a few details about this section in the Section Setup dialog. Let's just confirm all the defaults that we set up before and click OK. Up pops the Pairing Setup dialog where I could specify certain pairings and buys if I wanted, but I'm just going to let SwissSys handle it and click OK to pair. Then in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, we have our first round pairings, which I would print out and post. I'm paired on board 1. My brother is on the bottom board, as usual, and Magnus Carlsen got his half-point bye. As results from the games come in, this is where I would record wins, draws, and losses. There are 2 ways to do that. You can activate a result button with the mouse and then click on the player who got that result, like this. Click on W for win, and then click on me, since naturally I won my game. You could also just click on a player and type WD or L to give a result. If you make a mistake, oops, like I just did, by accidentally giving my brother a win, just change it. There, he lost, as expected. Let's exit this dialog now and take a quick look at the standings. And now, toggle back to the full wall chart view using the shortcut button with the brick wall. And those are the basics of running a tournament. We could continue by pairing more rounds and entering results, but I hope this gives you the idea. In the next video, we will look at how SwissSys makes handling more complicated multi-section tournaments a breeze. Bye for now.